It is Wednesday night. It's November 8th, 2023. So you know what that means. A brand new episode of the Kicking Out podcast. For the first time in 3 weeks, we have the band back together. The three-man band. And I'm not talking about Slater. I'm not talking about Mahal. I'm not talking about McIntyre. I'm talking about Tanner Lee, Austin Shepard, and Paul Zartman. And all of a sudden, Paul's camera
Paul, you jinxed
is
us
out.
there, Tanner. He's gone. Paul's gone.
I was already on the roll. I couldn't cut back from the intro, but now Paul is having some technical difficulties, and it looks like we got him here again. Let's see.
Don't mind the fourth man. There we go.
There we go. So now the three-man band is back.
You hit play on the video, and it went black, and then all of a sudden it goes, "Hey, you couldn't play this."
Majin, you're talking about 3 count.
Yes.
3MB, baby.
3MB. Hey, they could be reuniting in the future. It's possible. He's a free agent. Next.
That's all I have for that.
Next. But before it forgets, if you're a fan of our quizzes, we just finished a really fun quiz that'll be up on our YouTube channel tomorrow. It's the NWA World Heavyweight Champions. So, really good list that Shep came up with this week, and I failed miserably, but it's all good.
You and me both. I'm still beating myself up over now 2 names.
Yeah, that'll happen. Better luck next week.
Look at the screen, not at a board. That's my advice.
I was giving hints to you, Paul. A big hint.
Majin, it goes through 2022. So
EC3 was not involved in this quiz.
And the reason Shep did it is because of the news that NWA's been in this week, blowing their deal with ECW due to some blow, literally. So.
Here's the deal.
What an idiot.
Okay, let's just look at the dollars and cents. NXT reportedly got $35 to $38 million. Okay,
5-year contract. Yep.
Okay, I don't believe the NWA was in line for that, but I would have to guess it was somewhere between 5 to 10 million.
Yeah, still probably 8 figures, which is huge for them.
Oh yeah,
so really huge for them, huge for that platform that has lived on YouTube, and they're one little bit just down the drain, and it's kind of sad because, well, let me rephrase this. It can be sad because I think there's some people in the NWA that is truly passionate about this profession and really trying to make this work.
Yeah.
And then you have an incident like that, and it just shit it all down the drain.
It's just what went through their mind. I know it's pay-per-view, so they're thinking, we can get away with some stuff that we can. I mean, you got this deal on the table. Why even try anything like that? And it's 2023. This is not 1998 anymore.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's not 1988 in Miami.
That's true too. Yes, Majin said it would have been huge for the NWA, but we all know their ownership are dumbasses. Oh, Billy Boy.
Yeah, well,
obviously he's not a Smashing Pumpkins fan.
They're going back on tour next year with Green Day and Rancid, so maybe that'll be good for NWA. Get Billy away for a little bit, back on tour. So,
that's your type of music.
Yes, it is. So I'm working on getting some tickets actually. So I will boo Billy the whole time though. You suck.
I'm not a big Rancid fan, so you guys would have to fill me.
I'm more just Green Day, so I don't look.
Green Day's good. Green Day's good.
Can we get some Rancid on WROI tomorrow, Paul?
Only if you're going to hire me after I play it. Because I will need a new job.
That's funny. So, Shep, do you have a wrestling shirt on tonight?
The third guy.
Oh, that is beautiful.
Who's the third guy?
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
I broke this one out tonight.
I'm wearing my Buck shirt.
Well, since I noticed the last couple of weeks you've been putting New World Order underneath my name because of my chili cook-off team, I thought I would break out the third.
I might have thrown that out there like the week after the chili cook-off,
Yes.
and then it just never got changed.
And not that has anything to do with professional wrestling, but I'm pretty sure our team name in the chili cook-off, which was three buddies that had no sponsor affiliation with a local business, and we came up with that just because two of us are wrestling fans and the third guy despises wrestling. Our team name was New World Order without him knowing, and you would be shocked at how many people came up and said, "What does this team name mean? Is this anti-government?" We got a bunch of really, really weird questions, and I'm pretty sure it cost us some votes.
Oh, I'm sure it did.
Because we won last year with this chili, and this year we got tied for second, but whatever. It was rocking this T-shirt during the chili cook-off, so.
Majin's rocking his new Adam Copeland shirt by the looks of it. They said he got over the weekend. That's a good one. He's got two good ones on the store. So, but Paul, I think you got a question for Shep before we dive into Dynamite.
Yeah. Hey, Shep, what are we drinking?
This is the biggest fail I've ever had. I was so pumped for tonight. So Tanner texted us, I don't know, 2-3 o'clock this afternoon. We hit the top 30 of wrestling/MMA podcast, if I can read it.
Yeah, the charts for Apple Podcasts.
Okay.
Yep.
On the Apple side, so it mixes MMA and wrestling,
Correct.
Professional wrestling together. Correct. And we had cracked the top 30. We were 27th in the lovely country of Spain.
I think it's the first time we've ever charted in Spain too. So
we were beating.
It said new next to it.
Yeah.
Yes, we were beating Jim Cornette, the drive-through. Okay,
and Jeff Jarrett, baby,
and Jeff Jarrett. Which, if you guys like us better than them, then by God,
thank you.
We're doing something right.
Yeah. So, anyways, first thing I did is I take to El Google, and I type in the national cocktail of Spain, and it comes up. Sangria.
Oh, I love sangria.
Fruity wine. Fruity wine, right?
Yep.
So I go to the liquor store after work. The only way you could buy sangria at our liquor store is a gallon jug. I thought I could at least buy a bottle.
You would think, but
I did not pull the trigger on a gallon jug of sangria because I feel like it's going to be sweet fruit wine that's give you a gut rot.
Yeah.
So all my intentions were great. It just was an absolute fail. So tonight, I mean, you guys know, just back to the normal. Had a late start tonight with work and all that stuff. So I could not land some local sangria. But that was going to be the intention.
Appreciate the effort.
Maybe next week. Maybe you can spend the week driving to different liquor stores and find something a little smaller.
And maybe we'll chart somewhere else next week.
Well,
because we also charted in Ireland too.
Well, I thought about Ireland, and so guys in Ireland, if you're listening, in my 20s and early 30s, I was a master of the Irish car bomb, and I would love. I haven't done one in probably since I got responsible, got married. But I could bring it back. So Ireland.
Vintage is in.
Yeah, if you want me to bring back the Irish car bomb, Shep is ready to rock some Irish car bombs.
Majid said that you're drinking Marty McSorley's bathwater.
Margin, you guys drink that damn Molson up there. You might as well freaking rub trailer hitches with that shit.
All right, Shep, if you bring back the Irish car bomb, I'll come do one with you.
Oh, there you go.
I love Irish car bomb. I freaking love them. I still, to this day, have the record of Irish car bombs on a tab at our local watering hole, the Dam Landing.
That's
I'm not
pretty
going to tell you
impressive.
how many, but I do have the record. I didn't drink them all myself. I had some help, but I had plenty.
Yeah.
Almost as mild as you guys guessed on the NWA Championship. Not quite, but close.
More than what we guessed, or less than what we guessed?
Just a little bit under. Just a little bit under. Yeah. I used to. I don't know. I was a little while back in the day.
It's all good. It's all good.
I think we all were. Well, maybe not Tanner. I don't know. He's been podcasting since he was like 3, so you know.
Only 7 years. Come on now.
Okay, so since you were 17.
Funny. Let's talk some Dynamite, Paul.
Let's do it.
You got the read, right?
No, I told you. You're a slacker.
Oh, I thought you had
Slacker.
Pretty sure Paul
I said I'll let
Tanner's going to do it the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, I thought
that was me.
Oh.
Was it? Oh, I thought. Well, I meant to say you do it, and then I'll do it the next 2. But yeah, give me a second. I'll pull it up.
Oh, I can take it. I don't care.
I'll let you do it this week. I'll take the next 2.
All right, I got it here.
Slacker.
Let's roll. All right. Well, we opened Dynamite tonight, and we saw backstage. MJF was speaking with Tony Schiavone. He was reflecting on last week's defeat to Jay White, and then he gets a phone call. Adam Cole's on the phone. He's like, I'm gonna FaceTime, but he didn't say FaceTime. I don't know what he said. Video call, whatever. And all of a sudden, Cole pops up on the TV. What technology that is? And then Cole's telling him, you got to take Samoa Joe up on the offer to be your tag team partner at Full Gear against the Guns. And he's saying, nope, I'm going to take him on myself after I handled Daniel Garcia. Garcia then appears. MJF reveals he accepted the match tonight because he sees himself in Garcia. He wants to know if he will get the sports entertainer or the professional wrestler, which Garcia says tonight you're getting the professional wrestler, which got a pop from the crowd. And then we see Roderick Strong and the Kingdom show up. And Roderick's trying to offer some tips as he is a wrestling legend. He says in his own words, MJF agrees he is a legend, but he's turned into a joke. Roderick then says it's time for him to remind everybody who the hell he is.
The best part about this opening segment was as MJF is talking to Garcia, and he says, I want the professional wrestler, not the entertainer. And he does the Daddy Magic and he puts him off. Oh, freaking money.
Oh, I was dying when he did that. Too.
Yes.
Just a little subtle middle finger. Man, he is money. And I like what we saw of Garcia tonight, too. And that was the opener tonight for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. MJF, Daniel Garcia. Fun little back and forth match. A lot of limb work in this match, which I can appreciate. Even saw a spot where Garcia couldn't use his, I believe it was right arm. So he had to set MJF up for a, I don't even know what it was at the time. It was some kind of drop with only one arm. But in the end, as Majin said on Twitter, what hurt Garcia was his lack of experience as he which was trying to lock in the Dragon Tamer, but MJF countered and just saw the earth for Garcia to tap out. So, no, good overall match. I was with the story, I understand why they had Garcia tap out. I kind of wish he would just ate a pin instead, but
yeah,
the story fit the match.
It did. It was a good match.
It was a good match, and I thought they gave it the appropriate amount of time.
Yeah.
If you're going to kick off this show, you don't want it to go too long.
And then post-match, MJF tried to shake Garcia's hand, but Daddy Magic and Parker pulled Garcia away twice. So I'm ready for the split, boys. I'm ready for that split. I'm ready for Garcia to go on his own.
It's coming.
I'm ready for Garcia to come out in the trunks, the shooter boots, the knee-high socks with no pads, the professional wrestler attire compared to what he had on tonight.
It was a pile driver. Thank you, Majin. I could not think of the slam off the top of my head since it wasn't in the notes. I'm ready for a big run from Garcia. What am I thinking of? A PWG type run.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Next up, we saw Sting and Darby Allin versus the Outrunners. We love ourselves some Outrunners here on KOP.
Outrunners.
Turbo Floyd, Truth Magnum.
Spin to win.
This was a pretty quick match. Darby and Sting won, of course. Got the win with the Scorpion Death Lock. So 2 for 2 in guys submitting to start the night. And nothing after the match. I thought we might see Christian and Luchasaurus Nick Wayne show up, and nothing. Just saw Sting run around the ring on the outside, high-fiving people.
Yeah.
Lodgen said, I'm ready for Garcia to come out like the son of Dean Malenko and Lance Storm.
Mm.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Yeah.
We then see Tony Schiavone again backstage interviewing both Tony Storm and Akira Shida. I laughed that Schiavone explained to everybody this was in black and white. You don't have to reset your televisions. To which commentary afterwards, I don't know if it was Taz. I think it was Taz said, how can you tell if you're in black and white? But he's interviewing both ladies. Tony confirms she has requested a title shot of Full Gear. Shida asked what happened to her. And as she's just focusing on silly acting, Tony blames Shida for it was supposed to be her at Wembley Stadium going in as a title holder, and then she wanted to be the first 3-time women's champion, but Shida happened again, so she became the history. Shida says that will happen at Full Gear is what's always happened, and she'll retain it. The contract for the match officially gets signed as Tony attempts to use her shoe, but Shida knocked it out of her hand.
Yeah, good little segment to help continue the storyline without them having to get physical.
Yep, and you had Luther there.
I like the new Tony Storm. I think it's great.
Can we get rid of Luther?
No, we can't because he's Chris Jericho's buddy.
Well, and Shep last week said this is the best gimmick he's had.
This is the best gimmick he's had. Yeah, hands down.
It's his only shot.
Yeah.
So I guess roll with it. He's probably under contract for another year or two, so you might as well get something out of him.
Yeah, I think he might even be a producer or a coach backstage. I'm not sure.
I hope he's not a coach. Come on.
Majin says Tony Storm sending the foot fetishist into cardiac arrest, showing her feet in those fishnets on free TV like that. You're not kidding. I'm sure a lot of people out there were enjoying that. So, Up next, I think this was my favorite match of the night. Swerve Strickland versus Penta El Zero Miedo. This was fun. This is my type of wrestling here. Of course, Prince Nana came out with Swerve, and the whole crowd was swerving as they drive. It was revealed that Adam Hangman Page is banned from ringside for the match. So immediately, Swerve goes for Penta's mask, takes early control of the match. It sends Penta into the turnbuckle, focuses on the hand of Penta. Two men end up exchanging chops. Swerve brings Penta back to the mat only to rip at his tongue. I've never seen that done before.
Yeah, that was interesting.
That was kind of interesting is a good way to put it. This match went back and forth for a while. Some more chops, some flurries of kicks back and forth. And then Penta at one time had a diving foot stomp. A Swerve kicked out. Then Swerve flipped Penta into the turnbuckle, chopped him again. Penta fell to the outside, but his feet were still at the bottom of the rope, which allowed a diving stop from Swerve to the outside, which he's had some very fierce diving stomps lately. Penta, though, took focus on Swerve's arm, and he hit the Made in Japan, but Swerve kicked out. Swerve landed a shot to the back of the head, followed that up by driving Penta, and then seemingly broke the wrist of Penta, follows it with the stomp and got the win. Post-match, Swerve was going for the mask again of Penta, but Hangman appeared with a steel chair and started attacking Swerve, attacked security with it as well. Page then launched Swerve off the entranceway and into a table on the floor. It's hit a version of the Dead Eye, which for a second I thought he caught his leg on the table. I thought he hurt himself.
Yeah, it was scary there for a second. once they went through that table. But good stuff. Post match was probably more of my favorite over the actual match. The match was still good, don't get me wrong, but I like where they're going with Hangman. We got to see kind of that heelish Hangman again, that angry,
He was angry.
passionate Hangman that we don't see on a regular basis. So
Yeah, as Majin said, he says, as I tweeted after this match, I'm going to need both of them titled up. I tweeted swerve for world champ 2024, which I knew Shep would not appreciate, but
No, I don't like that at all. I like the aggression out of Hangman tonight.
yeah.
It fits well in the storyline. You guys were worried about his leg. I thought when he went through that table, I thought that table came up and almost hit Hangman in the mouth or the face.
yeah.
And
What wasn't the cleanest by any means.
it wasn't
But
clean.
No.
And going back to the match, I think it was. I agree with Tanner. It was a very entertaining wrestling match. Both those guys are super good.
they both have a lot of charisma too.
But I'm more of a fan of Penta. Like that guy takes a lot of L's, man.
He does.
He
His
does.
record tonight, I wish I would remember what was. He's wrestled a stupid amount of matches in AEW over the last 4 years.
And I know Phoenix is dealing with some visa issues, and we won't see him for a while or whatever. But I mean, you got to remember, Penta held a world championship in Impact, TNA, or whatever.
Yep. Well, he just won the AAA belt Friday night on Rampage.
Okay.
He beat Vikingo and Commander on Rampage Friday.
Which is weird.
Overall,
Go ahead, Shep. The graphic tonight, because we're going to get a live Rampage on Friday night, FTR versus Vikingo and Commander, and Vikingo still had the belt on his shoulder in that graphic.
I'm pretty sure that was for the belt Friday night. Maybe it was. I mean, I watched the stupid match, but maybe
I didn't catch it Friday night. But yeah, the Vikingo still had a belt on his shoulder in that graphic tonight.
Maybe I should fact check myself.
And that was the AAA.
Yeah.
Not Lucha World Championship, but it was the AAA something.
I'm looking it up right now.
It wasn't their heavyweight belt, which is the Mega Championship.
Which he holds the Mega.
While you look that up, Penta's overall record is 91-55-0.
They use him a lot.
He is 2-7 in singles action this year.
Yeah,
I must have been dreaming that because it does not show Penta as the title holder, huh? Never mind. I'm an idiot.
Well,
I know QT's their Latin American champion, but did you guys see he had lost that for a minute the other night to Fuego, but won it back?
Oh, Fuego.
Mm-hmm.
Fuego.
Next.
Yeah. Next up was we see Chris Jericho and Kenny Omega, the Golden Jets, brand new t-shirt on shopaew.com, by the way, they put up tonight. They're bragging about having Paul White by their side to Renee Paquette, but the Young Bucks appear. They say they set up in a broom closet because there's no room in the locker room now with Jericho in there. They point out that they started AEW, but Jericho claims it was the four of them to start a company, which I thought that was interesting. Matt Jackson said, no, he remembers it as the three of them, and then Jericho just walls it in and cashes check. Jericho says Jericho and Omega are two of the greatest, and he thinks they can beat the Young Bucks. This leads to Matt Jackson setting up a match between the Golden Jets and the Young Bucks at Full Gear. Jericho adds if they win, they get the number one contendership to the AEW World Tag Team Championship shot. But Matt adds and says if the Bucks win, the Golden Jets are no more. Kenny says he doesn't want to wrestle the Bucks, but he said he's done it before with Kota Ibushi and Hangman and beating the Bucks both times. They can do it again. So, how do you guys feel about this match go next Saturday?
Shep, go ahead.
I actually like it. We didn't have anything for those two guys, meaning Jericho and Omega.
I figured it'd be someone with Cal's family.
So yeah, I like it. I think it could be some good storytelling down the road. I don't think it ends next Saturday. So even though there's some stipulations of never tagging again, yada yada yada.
I like the Bucks as like kind of tweeners. I mean, they're not full heels, but they came off edgy tonight. That's the Bucks I like.
Tonight they look like whiny bitches.
According to
Which Kenny said.
Yeah.
Yep. So,
but I don't know. To me, announcing the match at Full Gear kind of says these guys could most likely win Wednesday night in the street fight.
Yeah.
I don't like setting that up that quick. I mean, maybe start planting the seeds this week, and then the Bucks go into the locker room after the street fight if they win and say, hey, look, we're tired of him being in here, and then lead into what we got tonight.
So next week,
I'll counter that, don't I?
Just to clarify that, next week we have the Jericho, Omega, Ibushi, Paul White versus Don Callis family in a street fight, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay. So obviously, well, when you say that, once that's over, we're going to go right into Full Gear the following Saturday and completely forget about that storyline.
That's why I was kind of surprised by this tonight, but I don't hate it. I like when the Elite have big stories. I'm just wondering. I mean, Jericho usually steps up his game in big matches, though. But I was gonna say he's got a lot to live up to because last time we saw the other three in a tag team match, it was arguably AEW's best tag team match ever at Revolution 2020 with Hangman and Kenny versus the Bucks.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't mind it, and I like that Tony this time around is giving us matches way in advance.
Yeah, it makes it easier for us who have to predict for, a title that I don't even know if still exists anymore or not.
Where's it at?
That's what I asked last week.
Don't know where it's at.
It's not with the champ. I don't have it. I delivered it to the previous champion like I said I would.
I don't know.
Might have been a few days after I said I would, but I eventually delivered it.
It's in a moving box somewhere.
That or it's in Lake Manitoba over that way.
So next, you got to buy the belt this time, Tanner.
It's looking that way. Up next, we got the ROH World Television Championship match between Samoa Joe and Keith Lee. Give me more Keith Lee on my TV, please. The guy brings it every single time he's on. He's just not on enough, in my opinion. Kind of like Lance Archer.
Mm-hmm.
This was big men slapping meat, and they got some meat chants from the crowd, back and forth. But both men were showing off some athleticism as well. In the end, we got Keith Lee was brought down to the mat due to Coena clutch, and despite his efforts to try to get out of the submission, he got choked out. So submission number 3 of the night. So Samoa Joe retains his ROH TV championship. After the victory, though, Joe says he is the greatest ROH TV champion of all time. However, he didn't come here just to be that. Hunger defines the greats, and he is hungry. As of tonight, he vacates the title because the next goal that will be on his shoulder is the AEW World Championship, whether MJF likes it or not. Thoughts on the match, but more in particular, the post-match?
Match was okay. Wasn't great. I thought these guys could do better.
Yeah.
After the match, this sets up a long-term, this sets up a long-term way to put a belt on Mark Briscoe. And I know he showed up at the end of the match. We'll talk about it. End of the show. We'll talk about that later. But this was the reason to get the belt off of Joe, to not make him look bad, because eventually he's going to feud with MJF, and hopefully MJF goes over, and it doesn't devalue Samoa Joe.
Which I understand your point, but what I didn't like about it is, I think, in my opinion, with Joe vacating the title, it makes ROH look that much more like the minor leagues.
Yes.
Makes their title
Because you
mean
just
nothing.
have this great match between these two heavy hitters. Joe comes out on top and then says, "Yeah, you know what? Yeah, I don't want this thing anymore."
Yeah, this gold's fun, but it's not what I want.
At that point, you should have just had Keith Lee win it, and then Joe say, "You know what? I could have put up more of a fight. I could have won that match, but I didn't want to because here's why."
Yeah, because Shep, I understand. Yeah, I definitely get your take of not wanting to devalue Joe or make him look weak at all. But same time, you have a chance to elevate somebody a little bit, like Keith Lee, who might need that rub, or Shane Taylor, who might need that rub. Um, I know one ROH talent who just had a simple tweet of the belt tonight was Ethan Page.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just feel like they're trying to build the ROH brand, and it kind of made it look more minor league than
It's
it even did
really
previously.
hard. It's really hard to build a brand. Hold on. Let's back up. You have two brands together. You have AEW and ROH, and you're trying to mesh them together, make them look good, but only one of them has a TV deal right now.
Right.
You're trying to make every belt look good, every superstar look good, and not bury anybody. It's a really hard thing to do. It's a really fine line. So it makes Samoa Joe still look good, makes ROH look a little, he just dropped my belt on live television. So there's a fine line there. I don't know.
It's interesting. We look back a few weeks ago, and for the ROH title holders, you had Kingston, Athena, the Bucks, and Hangman, Cole and MJF, Samoa Joe, and all of a sudden, Joe's out of the equation, Humbuck's out of the equation. It makes you think, is MJF and Adam Cole, next one's out of the equation?
No. The only reason I say no is because if they were out of the equation, it will devalue MJF. And right now, the rocket is up his, just going. He's past Pluto and the moon and Saturn and all that shit.
If he's past Pluto, he's definitely past all that shit.
Yeah, I know Pluto's the last one, right? I remember a little bit of science class.
It's not even a planet anymore, though, right?
Yes, it is.
Well, it's a star.
Yeah.
It's a dwarf planet. It's still a planet. I don't care what people say.
Dwarf, is that the correct term nowadays, Paul? Dwarf?
Yes, that is what NASA has classified Pluto as, a dwarf planet.
Oh, dwarf.
Maja brings up.
I mean, I didn't know. What do they call Hornswoggle?
Little person.
Is he a
horny
dwarf planet?
Yes.
Majin brings up a really good point. Remember when they promised us going forward there'd be less ROH/AEW crossover? I'm still waiting for that day.
I think we're going to start getting there slowly. I think TK is kind of waiting to do that, though, until he can solidify more for ROH, so everybody doesn't have to go to YouTube to watch it. And I think eventually whatever
YouTube,
ROH, Honor Club, whatever it is now, I don't know. YouTube goes off every freaking Thursday night with ROH stuff, so I never know what's going on. But I think when Tony can get it on somewhere like Max or something like that, we'll definitely put an end to that crossover, because then everybody can go watch it for $9.99 a month or $10.99 or $15.99 or whatever it is.
Well, speaking of ROH, the two guys who are going to challenge MJF at Full Gear for the ROH Tag Team title, the Guns, they were in a quick squash match with the Bollywood Boys. As everybody
Bollywood
probably
boys.
remembers them from their WWE days with Jinder Mahal and remembers Randy Orton just absolutely throwing one 15 feet in the air and landed on his back on the announcer's table, and Randy's hilarious reaction afterwards. That's probably what they're best known for. So they squash the Bollywood boys after the match. They go on the microphone. They say MJF's a liar. He isn't a generational talent. He's been telling sob stories, but unlike him, they've never been told no as they're made for television. They're about to be ROH Tag Team Champions because they are generation talent. They point out MJF's only friends are the people on the other side of the guardrail, and he hopes MJF picks one of the fat pieces of shit to be his partner. That came from Austin Gunn.
Which got censored on TV, which was weird.
They censored a few things tonight.
Yeah, stuff that they normally let fly got censored.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what that's about, but we then see John Moxley backstage. He's showing because earlier we heard from Orange Cassidy and Hook was just standing there. I forgot. I kind of passed over that. Talking about their upcoming match, Full Gear for the International Championship. Moxley's shown. He says people have called him and told him to let up Orange Cassidy, let him off the hook, but he knew that Cassidy knew what he was doing. It's not about the belt. It's about the laws of the jungle. What example would it be if he settled and didn't beat the ever living piss out of Cassidy? What example does that set for little young Wheeler as he pats Wheeler on the head? He says the minute they land in LAX, it is on gang warfare, and Yuta then gives a threat out there, the Hook.
Mox said if he makes it to next Sunday. I think he's still adjusting to pay-per-views aren't on Sundays all the time.
Right. So
they have a match this Collision or Rampage, right? Where it's Orange and Hook versus Yuta and Mox.
That's next week on Dynamite.
Next week on Dynamite. Okay.
Yep. So, which they were really weird with that stuff tonight. Like we never got the break right before the main event to show everything. They kind of just announced things during the main event. It was hard to keep up with what was going on when. I guess that's why we follow AEW on Twitter, I guess. But, during this promo the whole time, I'm thinking Hook would be a great member of the Blackpool Combat Club.
I was sitting there thinking the same thing. And then when Mox said something about, take notes if your fingers still work, I was like, all right, I could see him jumping ship and joining BCC. He'd fit in perfectly.
Yeah, turn on Orange.
You'd be a true, what they call shooter, right?
Mm-hmm.
His style is a true shoot style professional wrestling, right?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Big time.
Yeah.
Maj and Emily, the only one that is just over Mox. I don't know. He's never hit for me. I still like Mox.
I was a huge Dean Ambrose fan and did not like Roman Reigns or Seth Rollins back in the day. So Mox has got a little bit of piece of my heart.
Yeah. I'll never forget.
Like
I still like Mox. Goes back again. I never liked the Shield, but I always liked Ambrose because he set it apart. He was different than the other two. The other two always remind me of professional wrestlers. Ambrose kind of reminded me of what we see now with Moxley, and I always liked that. And that's why I was excited when he came over.
I always liked two of the three members of Shield. The one when they were Shield I never liked was Rollins. I just never cared for him.
Coming soon, KOP Crocs.
No.
In honor of Rollins.
I quit.
We'll get the big old freaking Croc boots that Rollins wears and just slap KOP on it, and then send him a pair, and I bet he'll wear them.
If he wears them on national television, I'm okay with it. But
yeah,
exactly.
I quit.
No kidding. Up next, we got the lone women's match of the night, Julia Hart versus Red Velvet. Crowd pop for Julia coming out. Nice to see Red Velvet back on TV. Hadn't seen her in a while.
Yes. 9 months.
So back and forth. In the end, Julia got the win. She had a super kick and then a stomp. And then she connected with a moonsault. But post-match is where it really got interesting, I thought. Julia continued to attack Red Velvet until Sky Blue made her way to the ring. They stare each other down until Chris Statlander and Willow Nightingale made their way to the ring. And Julia walked away. So Still something there. I don't know. We didn't get the blue makeup under Julia like Shep was predicting this week, but because we were laughing last week, Paul, that all of a sudden when you get misted, all of a sudden you have a power that you can mist yourself. I guess.
Yeah, only when you're Julia Hart
Yeah.
and Sky Blue.
Yeah.
That'll be a good 0-hour match.
Yeah.
Coming up for Full Gear. So
Yeah. Yeah.
But what I did notice is I'm not sure if at the very end there, Sky was kind of given the I'm watching you look towards Statlander or Hart, but either one of those could be good matches.
Yeah. I would think we got to have a TBS championship match on Full Gear, right?
You'd
Even if
think.
it is 0 hour.
oh yeah.
Yeah. Then we see RJ City, and he's shown with the newest addition to the AEW Women's Division, Mariah May. She's wrestled all over the world and is excited to be in the AEW Women's Division, and she's a big fan of RJ's work with Tony Storm, and she is the reason why she's here, as she's a big fan of Tony Storm.
This immediately took me back to Trish Stratus, Mickey James.
Okay. Okay.
I mean,
Interesting comparison. I didn't
Mickey
think about
said
that, but I can see the similarities.
Mickey said she followed Trish all over the place. We saw that tonight. I hope it doesn't go in that storyline. But again, that was a fun storyline, so I'd be okay if we got a little bit of that.
And Mariah May, I mean, she's been rumored to come over for weeks now, so I don't think it was a surprise. But it's another one of those signings. If you don't follow AEW or just wrestling real closely, you're probably not familiar with her. But I think I was telling Paul this, Shep, before we started recording. I think AEW is kind of starting tonight going back to their roots a little bit, starting to go back and just trying to hit their main fan base, their main customer base. And I think they caught a lot of flack last week with Paul White, Ric Flair, some of the other old timers. I think they're trying to go a little younger and back to their base of, well, we're just gonna, pander to the hardcores pretty much.
And she came from Stardom over in Japan, right?
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So fresh young talent.
Yep.
Love it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And you can introduce her more in a week or two, give her more of a story or a backstory, let everybody kind of understand.
Maybe have her come out at Full Gear and cost Storm the match or something.
Majin, I don't know if you can see this, so I'm putting this on the screen, but Wildcat Productions asking you what's up. So there you go. Then we get the main event tonight, Jay White versus Mark Briscoe. I was kind of surprised at the start of the show that this was the main event. I honestly thought it'd be MJF and Garcia. So I was kind of confused why they, in my mind,
Once you get
flipped
to
them.
the end of the match, it makes sense.
Correct. But good to see Mark Briscoe back on television. I mean, we saw him on
Yeah.
Rampage, but good to see him back. Speedy recovery, really, for the most part. I thought he was out till 2024. So nice to see him back. Got a big pop from the crowd. He got the crowd going to start the match. A lot of back and forth. I mean, Mark really hung in there. I mean, I think we all knew that Jay White wasn't going to lose his title shot of Full Gear.
Right.
So then the match, Briscoe's hitting him with a few strikes, but ultimately he ate a sleeper suplex before getting spiked by White, who then hit the Blade Runner for the 1-2-3. After the match, MJF's music hits. All Bullet Club Gold looks to the entranceway, but MJF's behind him. He takes out Juice and the Guns with the diamond ring, and he and Jay are facing off. Jay looks like he's going to hit him with the belt, but MJF runs at him with the ring, and Jay gets out of the ring. MJF gets on the mic, says he hopes White has had fun playing dress up because playtime is almost over, as he has to get in the ring with a generational talent and the real world champion. He promised himself he'd go down as the greatest AEW world champion, and White will have to kill him to beat him. He's not fighting for himself anymore. He's fighting for those who have been on this journey with him. He's fighting for Adam Cole, and as he's their scumbag, as he points to the crowd, he questions if White will be the first man to pull the trigger at Full Gear. Before I get to the last part of the show, what do you guys think of the match and the post promo there?
The match, I don't know. I was not sure what to expect with these two, and Mark coming off of an injury. It could have been a little better. It was good. Don't get me wrong. Could have been better. Of course, I think you can say that about any wrestling match, but I enjoyed it for the most part.
I thought it was one of the best Mark Briscoe matches we've seen since he's been on AEW television. Kind of knew he wasn't going to go over Jay White, but I thought he really held his own, made him look strong. I thought it was a really good main event. So
I like the backstory they told and showed old footage of he against Jay
Mhm.
White and ROH. And, hey, we've been fighting all over the world tag team, and now we're finally go one-on-one. I like that because it gives a little story behind it.
yeah,
Majin said, tough critics here. No, it was fine. It wasn't my favorite match tonight, but it was fine. We've seen a lot worse, for sure.
Yeah,
But
we have.
then after
Sparklers.
MJF's, every time, Paul. Come on, I'm trying to put that on my memory. Then and
Marco
after
stunt.
shut up, Paul. After the promo, the lights go out. Then backstage, we see a group of masked men attacking the Acclaimed as one of them throws Bowens through a glass wall. The clip then cuts.
That's some shitty glass, by the way. That was some shitty glass. Anyway,
It's sugar glass.
shitty glass.
Sugar glass.
Okay, sugar.
There wasn't real glass.
Sugar.
Cry me a river.
Then the clip cuts out and the devil's shown as MJF sprints to the back to check on them. Then Samoa Joe appears and says MJF's running out of friends.
Friends.
I like the end of the show. Another cliffhanger.
Yes. And Tanner, you took to social media on behalf of KOP asking who everybody thought the devil was.
Yes,
I've
pull up some
heard.
responses here.
Yeah, you go ahead and do that because one of those I've heard this one a couple different times, but for me, it's hard to believe it.
Well, Majin said himself, so there we go.
Yeah.
A couple people said Adam Cole. One person said CM Punk. Why I'm laughing is this other person said real glass was used, so it can't be Pepsi McMuffins.
Wow.
Somebody said DMD. Somebody said Card Blade. Somebody said Sammy Callahan. That's interesting. And our own Paul said Jack Perry.
Yeah. Now, I've heard other people say that it was DMD. It was Britt Baker. I get it because, Adam's injured again. It's Max's fault. Yada, yada, yada. But I still like the Jack Perry deal. And I really, really think it's Perry after the glass reference again tonight. And if it's not Perry, they're setting us up to really think that it is.
Any guesses, Shep?
I mean, I'm kind of with Paul on this one, but
we can't agree, so he's got to pick somebody else.
Yeah, it pains me to agree with Paul a little bit, but the way they have done this, they've done it perfectly. Okay, They got everybody thinking it could be 1, 2, 3, 6 different people behind that match, which I love. Little storytelling. And going up until 2 weeks ago, the Devil has debuted, 5 weeks ago, but we went like 2 weeks, we didn't even see the Masked Devil.
The 2 weeks Adam Cole wasn't on TV either, or was at Roddy's house.
So they're really playing it really good. I kind of like it. So, I still think the Devil will be MJF. I really do. And he's going to turn around and say, "I got ya." But
interesting.
Yeah.
I think it's Adam Cole, although I think that's what they want us to believe.
Well, you're saying that because he legit has an injury and they're going to try to keep him relevant through the injury rehab, right?
Or it's just a big work his injury. I know we still have never seen the actual photo though.
I mean, come on. It's HIPAA laws, right? You can't talk about that stuff.
That is true. That is true.
And Britt's a doctor. She's not going to make up fake photos for him. What are you thinking?
No, but she's a doctor. She could write a script for some Vicodin and stuff like that, which those are we're talking about something else.
Yes.
Maja said it would have been too obvious
Never
if
mind.
after Bones went through the glass, you just heard, see, that's real glass, cry me a river.
Mm-hmm.
Could it be, and I think this would fall a little flat, but could it be David Finlay?
If it was just straight attacking the Bullet Club,
Right.
I could get behind that. But with
I got-
the like commentary said, it seems like everybody who gets close to MJF gets attacked by this group of people.
Yep.
Nick Nemeth.
If that's the
Yeah.
case, they're not going to have him reveal himself till December because that's when he'd be signed.
Right.
So it's his brother Ryan right now.
His brother Brian's an idiot, but whatever. I mean, I would think he would be. He's got a couple, 1 or 2, 3, 4 big shows left in him, and he's a draw. So Nick Nemeth would be an just outside chance.
It's fun to think about.
All
I
right.
like that. Do you guys think we find out who it is next Saturday at Full Gear? Or do you think they play it on a little longer?
No.
No, they keep it going.
But they'll end the
the only storyline they got going on right now.
They'll end the show at Full Gear with something devil related, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
Attacking Joe.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Joe's the next on the list. I bet you.
Interesting.
You just made the list.
God damn it, pal. We know it's not him because the guy doesn't have a cane with him. So.
That's good shit. That's good shit, Uncle Tanner.
Oh, I got a rabbit hole we could go down. I'm just saying.
Well, let's get rating and wrestler of the night first, or wrestler night and rating first.
All right.
Go for it.
Who's going for it?
Go ahead,
me?
Paul.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I missed last week. So I'm going to go a little higher than I have been here lately, and I'm going to go 7-9. I thoroughly enjoyed tonight's show. There were a couple segments that I caught myself looking at my phone more than watching the TV, but it's going to happen no matter what. Even some of the best shows that I could have rated in the 8s or 9s, I caught myself looking at my phone. But yeah, definitely a solid 7-9 tonight.
I was really, really close to you, a little lower. I was in the 7s, though. I'm going 7-3.
Fair.
Okay.
Fair. Majin said he's going 7-5. And MJF is his wrestler of the night. And I'll be the high man tonight. I'm going 8-1. 8-1. Really enjoyed it compared to last week's.
I go first and I still end up in the middle. Damn it.
At least you weren't low man. Hey, I was low man for the quiz tonight, the NWA quiz. So
Yes.
that would be high man somewhere. Wrestler of the night.
Go ahead, Paul.
In a losing effort, I'm going to go Mark Briscoe because it was nice to see him back on TV tonight. That's why you should have gone first, Shep.
Well, I was giving you the benefit of the doubt, you little shithead.
Yeah, I've been called worse, so.
Yeah, I know. My wrestler of the night, MJF.
That's a good, solid pick.
But yeah, I thought Mark looked really good tonight, which I wanted to go with him, but obviously Paul one thing. But I thought Mark coming off an injury was really, really good. Super entertaining. Yep. But if I can't pick him, MJF is right behind him with what he did all night long.
Both good choices. I'm gonna go with Swerve. Good win for him over Penta, and then he gets slammed through the table by Hangman, adding another layer to their feud. Thought about going with the Outrunners, but I'll save them. I'll save them. I'll save them for
that crossed my mind too.
You know, I watched it. I watched the match, and it was a great classic squash match. But
yes, it was.
Man, it was a hard time to pick. It'd be hard to pick them. I mean,
Sting's going to go undefeated in his AEW career, isn't he?
I mean, there's a really good shot.
Yeah.
Good shot at that happening.
But no, fun Dynamite tonight. I thought it was good. I don't think it'll get as many complaints as last week's show did. So,
and don't hold your breath.
Yeah,
the internet adults are awful people. So.
Well, and we didn't even talk. I guess that was new since last week's podcast that Ric Flair signed a multi-year deal with AEW.
Next.
Wait, well, hold on, Paul. Calm down. Why don't you like it?
I do like it. Don't get me wrong, but man, it is time for the guy to retire.
Oh, yeah.
That I mean, right off into the sunset. I know he needs money. It's going to promote his energy drink, which, in case you don't know, it's called Woo Energy, because Flair's out of ideas, so he just goes to Woo for everything. No, I love the guy. Fantastic. He's on my Mount Rushmore. He's never coming off of my Mount Rushmore. Retire. Just go home.
I don't like it either. But I do not want to see him wrestle.
That's my fear.
If he doesn't get in the ring, I mean, for God's sake, they gave a pay-per-view last year called Ric Flair's Last Match. The guy passed out in the match.
What? Twice.
I mean, I don't want to see him wrestle. I don't like
what if he doesn't
possibly dying. I don't want to see somebody possibly dying when they're wrestling.
And remember when he came out for the gift, they didn't even show him getting into the ring.
Because
they panned away from it
to the ring.
Well, yeah, but they panned away from him getting in and out of the ring because he was struggling so much.
My biggest thing is, I guess, I think it's a bad look for Tony Khan because Tony's ripped Vince, on Twitter for allegations and stuff, and then hires a guy who has some allegations himself. So it's just not a great look. But they're trying to get that money from action figures, video game, merch sales, things like that. So from a marketing standpoint, I get it, but not a fan of that.
Action figures and merch. I mean, gotta be hands off for those guys. Like, do whatever they can to just like push that stuff because that's where the money's coming from.
Yep. Yep.
And I mean, if Flair works with Andrade, becomes his mouthpiece, I'm okay with that. But I don't want to see him take any bumps. Keep him ringside if you're going to do it.
Hey, he's cleared, Paul. His doctor said he could take a bump.
So am I, but am I going to get in the ring and do it? No. Unless you're going to pay me good money to do it.
Wildcats Production said Flair needs to retire. I've seen him wrestle against Hogan when I was a kid.
Yeah. I mean, I got to watch that, but...
And I hope you're right, Wildcat. I hope Flair's not wrestling anytime soon. As Majin said, he won't. Tony's many things, but he's not an idiot. Again, the guy can barely walk as is. They won't have him wrestle. He'll probably be a manager, and that's it. I hope you guys are right. I hope you guys are right. I don't need to see him wrestle ever again.
It just scares me because Flair went out and said he wants one more match, and then Tony Khan signs him to a multi-year deal. It's just gonna be Flair in his ear, going, "Hey, just give me one more shot. Just come
Well,
on,
it's
one
gonna be
more. I
Flair,
can do this one more time."
his energy company. That's
Woo!
yeah. So
Yep. So,
Energy.
yep. So, yeah, Ric Flair's all elite. But I did not have that on my 2023 bingo card. 2023 has been a crazy year in pro wrestling, and 2024 is going to be probably the busiest year as far as free agents going back and forth that we've seen in quite a while. So,
yeah,
Bidding war of
it'll
24.
be crazier.
yep. Yep. So, any final thoughts you guys want to talk about tonight before we hang this one up?
Shout out to Undertaker from going from the scariest man in professional wrestling to being the caregiver. So there's that.
No, I don't have anything. I thought it was a pretty good show. I thought the crowd was really good tonight.
Yeah, Portland. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe a better crowd than we normally have seen.
A lot more people standing to the point that even commentary mentioned the fact that they were standing. So
yeah. So
Going to a market they don't go to very often.
exactly.
Amazing what happens when you do that.
Mm-hmm.
So,
good for them. Thought it was a
Yep.
overall great show. So
Yep, going in the right direction. Next Saturday's card's looking really good. So
Yeah, we'll be making predictions for that next week.
we will. It feels like forever. I don't know why. Wrestle Dream was just last month, but it feels like it was forever ago
yeah,
for some reason.
I'm pretty sure Paul's not going to win. So
Yeah, probably not.
Probably not. Probably not.
He's just
You know
here to
why
have fun.
though? Yeah. You know why? Hold
because
on, I'll show you.
Because Tanner and I are scumbags and you're not.
He's showing us something here.
That was a compliment and a slap in the face at the same time.
Like the shirt says, I'm just here to be wrong.
Paul 318
way.
says,
By the way, we've got new merchandise on the Kicking Out podcast. I don't know if these guys have talked about it. You can get a Shep 317 shirt or hoodie that says "Make it a double," a Paul 318 shirt or hoodie that says "Which is true." I'm just here to be wrong. You can be part of Kicking Out podcast, property of KOP. You can even take it a little old school with the Kicking Out podcast shirt there, done up like the Raw is War logo. Shep, this is what you need to buy. It's not very big, but you can have a nice little drink in a KOP glass during the show.
I mean, I do like to drink.
Yeah. It's all available at kickingOutshop.com. It's your place to go for great merchandise, supporting a great podcast, and looking fantastic doing so.
I got one more thing I want to say. One more thing. Because Majin said, so what do you guys want to talk about? We do get to see Cody Rhodes at Survivor Series in a War Games match, a match his father created. Pretty damn cool.
Hunter Dust.
And he's -1. We got a little surprise factor in the end.
Unless they go NXT style 4-on-4, but
I thought they said it was 5-on-5.
Did they say 5-on-5? I didn't.
I think I read, well, I didn't either, but I think I read somewhere that it will be a traditional 5-on-5.
See, Shep, I got a theory that Paul says he doesn't watch, but I think he's actually a WWE drone, E-drone, as they call him.
Am I?
He's just nice and does our podcast with us for fun.
Look, my son likes the product. I could care less. I looked, okay, this is how bad it is. This is why I do not watch this product, okay? I looked at the Crown Jewel card. I wrote all the names, all the matches down. I went through and circled who I thought was going to win. I handed it to my son, and I said, now, let's see what happens. I got a perfect card.
Yep.
Crown Jewel is pretty easy because you know there's going to be no title changes.
Except
there was though.
Well, yeah, you had Logan Paul. Yeah,
but that was so everybody saw that coming. So.
And hey, big shout out to Logan Paul for catching Ray in that match.
Yeah.
I didn't catch it right away, but because I kind of skipped through that match and did other stuff while that match was on because I don't really care for Logan Paul. But yeah, thanks, Majin. All right. Remember, I'm the only DBZ fan here who got what your name meant. So remember that, Majin. But Ray didn't get enough power or something coming off the rope. Logan realized it, dove in and caught him, and then turned it into a counter. Which
he was inches away from spiking his head.
Yeah, that was kind of scary there for a second. So shout out to everybody who caught that, because I did not catch that. I saw it on Twitter after the fact.
Yep, but yeah, I didn't want to cover too much. I just want to give Cody Rhodes a shout out because I think it's cool that he should have been in Blood and Guts in 2020. We know how that ended, so he finally gets to be in the actual matches that created. So pretty cool.
Yes,
back in '87. So pretty cool.
Yeah. And I hope with Cody being in it, I hope we get some kind of reference to Dusty.
There's gotta be.
That show starts.
There's gotta be. So, all right, Paul, take us home.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for this week's Kicking Out podcast. As I showed earlier, you can go to kickingOutshop.com and get some great merchandise, support a great podcast, and look fantastic doing so. Be sure to follow the Kicking Out podcast on all social media at Kicking Out Pod. Be sure to follow Austin Shepard at the Shep27. Follow Tanner Lee at TannerLee92. Follow myself at Paul Zartman921. And if you listen to the Kicking Out podcast on Apple Podcasts, leave us that 5-star review, because we are 5-star KOP. Join us again next week as we kick out yet another podcast.